What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Tristan Shop Talk, episode 27. It is October 22nd, 2024. Thank you for joining me. Very busy, but thank you for showing up. I really just don't know where else to start. It's just, I want to be flourishing with these episodes. I want to be just continuing these episodes of diving more in with fighters. I mean, right now I'm just like on pretty much. It's almost like I have a backlog on doing, interviewing these fighters right now because, these willing fighters are willing to. It's just, and I know it hasn't come from me to be pressing them for these interviews. And that being said, that just they know who they are. But thank you for being patient with me, and I'm just still trying to show pretty much show some love, So I will be bringing that up in a bit. For starters, let's get into yeah. You know what? Let's do that. Let's get into um, pretty much. We'll get right into Fury here in Houston that's coming up. I'm gonna bring up the next one because I am gonna have another episode this week for UFC 308. I am gonna kind of go over a little bit, but right now let's just go ahead and go over which I wanted to show. And here we are. So Malik Whitmore is going against Diamond, which should be interesting. It'll be November 22nd. Shout out to Malik, to Whitmore. Here we are. And man, come on. Where is it at? I just had it. Oh, bam. Okay. So yeah, so here we have Malik, and obviously looking forward to this one. Definitely looking very excited. That's Stevie who's being annoying right now. So excuse Stevie. But yeah, so looking forward definitely to this one. Definitely going to be there for that one. Can't looking forward to that one. Hopefully going to be there. More than likely, I am going to be there. It is a Friday, so it shouldn't be too bad. Actually, it's kind of down the street from where I'm at, so it's in a nice venue, Bayou City Event Center, November 22nd. Prelims start at 5:30. Main card starts at 8. So yeah, that'll be an all night. Definitely looking forward to that. Next up, we do have. We do have. All right, and then we have my other boy, homie. My homie. There we go, Manuel. So we have Manuel Rosas. So that's also a good one. Rosas, I think I've actually seen him compete. Yeah, well, definitely in Fury. I know I have. But definitely looking for a comeback with Manuel. I know he definitely has He's done some traveling. Um, I know he was definitely looking forward to the last fight. I know that one was called off. The fighter didn't follow through. So I know he's definitely hungry. So it should be an exciting that one also should be exciting to see. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. Um, Man, this is the only images I had for these right now. Like I said, I am going to be coming back and showing some more images towards some other ones. I wanted to go ahead and get into next, which would be so boom. Who do we have? Obviously, going on this Saturday, October 26th for UFC 308, and which is going to be at an awkward time for us. So I guess they're not doing the times aren't shouldn't be too crazy. If not, I guess fights are going to be starting kind of early, maybe possibly early in the morning, which is not a bad idea overall. Because obviously in other situations these fights have been in very odd times. So with them being in odd times, kind of throws off their. I believe it. I mean, I'm sure a fighter doesn't want to be fighting at 4 or 5 in the morning. So I know definitely that with the time difference from the east to the west, it's definitely a something to really plan out. So I know they have the times situated. Obviously, what I'm looking forward to is the Whitaker and Chimov. Chimov is coming off from a sickness, which on the doc well, the UFC they document during their training camps, and he spoke a little bit about getting sick and going through getting sick or leading up to it. He was training and he was fine, and yeah, it got really bad, and he said that he at that point he was eating the same things, doing everything the same things that his training or that his camp was doing as well, and for some reason he just didn't bounce back and he got really ill. So it was kind of strange. So I do know in a sense that that is kind of going against him in a way, which I mean, coming back from that, I don't have anything against Chimov. Chimov is, I believe, a great fighter, very disciplined. I mean, I believe I mean, he knows his judo. I don't know judo, but from the looks of it, just the stuff that he pulls off against wrestlers and other, uh, even black belt, jujitsu. Uh, I mean, his work is just crazy. So I enjoy watching him because he's just a very disciplined fighter, and he takes it very seriously. But then also he has Whitaker who's going against him, which also is another fighter that takes things very seriously and doesn't take things very lightly. So when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about their training camp in general. So their training camp in general is definitely pushing for definitely a very hard to the push to the. I'm expecting just straight up all out. I will say this: I do know Chimov is not going to possibly come out 100%, and if he does, then maybe I know that he is, back 100%. But I still don't think he's. I don't know. I think it kind of messed with him, and that's only him speaking about what he had to come back from, and just feeling as in being that ill. I'm not like I said. I respect the guy as a fighter. Believe me, I respect him as a fighter because he just goes out there and he does what he needs to do. So with that being said, I'm looking forward to this fight, and I'm not really going to take a side. I really can't because I really enjoy both fighters, Whitaker and Chimov. So I'm just looking forward to these two fights, which would be the well, like, going back to Ilya and Max, that's definitely a fight that needs to happen. That see what Ilya can bring, and if all that fancy training that he does in his house and his home that he has set up, you know, that's all nice and all, but I mean, training is training. I don't think it really matters where you. I think it just matters on how hard you train and how disciplined you are. But overall, like I said, I give it to him. He has a beautiful place where he does what he needs to do, and and definitely it definitely is something that he enjoys doing at his home because he's close to his family, as he explained, and also in the UFC documentary that they're showing for the camps of the fighters. Max Holloway, definitely looking forward to him, seeing what he's going to bring to the table. He's been in the game for quite a while, so I wouldn't say he's yet retired, but I will say that he is getting to that point where uh, there's he's coming to the end. Where I feel it's better. I've always believed better to leave while you're hot than when you're not. And I'm not saying he is a man. I'm trying to mix him up with the other fighter, but overall, like I said, I know Max Holloway. He still has fight in him, and he's still definitely a warrior, and that definitely has a lot of heart, and he has a lot to still prove. So looking forward to these two top fights. Um, More for Whitaker and more for Chamav. I'm looking more forward to that one because I think that one's going to be kind of uh, you know, yeah, just damn, just to the death, almost in a sense. I hope it's almost similar to the Burns and Chamav that I saw years ago. It was about 2 years ago when I saw that one, 2 or 2.5 years ago, I believe. But that was just that fight there was, oh man, that was just even that night was kind of crazy. But I do remember that one. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up about these fighters, everything going on. So yes, everybody, yes. So there's been a lot going on. I've been having a little fun with the Facebook, posting things that I feel is necessary to post, uh, specific things dealing with what's going on. And yet again, I'm just posting these views of what I see, and usually things that do catch my eye that need to be I guess brought up, or if not that, acknowledged, which is my specific reason as in acknowledging things that stand out to me that I just need to point out. And yet, not everybody's gonna agree with me, not everybody's gonna side with me, not everybody's gonna see what I see. But yet I see what I see, and I know that sometimes some of these posts are kind of taken away to another place. So um I mean, we're right now in a time where everything's getting a little weird, just based on the oh, I guess just based on everything being heightened in the world right now. The eyes and ears are on America's election, and with this being said, I do know for a fact overseas it is a big thing because we do, and I'm not saying that America is the overall policeman, or as in policing the world or nothing like that. But I will say that people do look forward, and people think it's like really amazing to live in America. And this is only just me referencing to when I did live overseas, and it was first almost like a shock to me. And this is like back in like '05, '06. So like when I lived overseas, it was just kind of a big shock to me on how many people thought it was just a great thing to be in America, or even just live in America. And to me, that was almost that was definitely a eye opener to me when it came to realizing that at the time I realized I did take it for granted that I was from America, and that I could have the thoughts that I could have, the views that I wanted to have. So overall, like it just definitely put me in a different mindset. So actually, when I followed up and I joined the Navy was just another. I feel another feeling where I was just so drawn to just doing something for my country, or if not that, having more of a stance to say, I kind of stepped out and kind of did something. I volunteered. I served my country. So, you know, they might not have always the correct answers. They might not always be right on some things. Everybody might not agree, but at the end, I did my part. And then to this day, I still do regret the fact that I didn't continue my service longer than I should have. At the time, it was one of those things where I had kind of been away already, and I thinking everything was going to be pitch perfect when I got out, and specifically, it wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't all what I thought it was going to be, and I found that out very quickly after I got out of the military. That things don't work out always as they seem or as they should, and sometimes you have to fall and scrape your knee or even fall on your face flat. So as in going now to my next segment, I just wanted to kind of go into the next segment about these two pilots who they're part of a electronic attack squadron, which is a lot different from a fighter attack squadron. But these were two female pilots that were naval aviators for the United States Navy, and the Navy aviators were part of the EA Growler Squadron, which is a squadron, but it's a VAQ 130. Yeah, VAQ 130, known as the Zappers. VAQ 130 for the Zappers is a F-18 Super Hornet EA Growler, which is known as it's known as a squadron that the squadron is known for overseeing, surveying electronics. So it's an electronic attack. They specifically, from what I understood, because I was part of a fighter 18 FF-18 squadron, so the opposite of this squadron. At the time, we had Harriers. So when I served, the Growlers weren't established just yet to take over from the Growlers. Uh, I'm sorry. Okay. So there was the A6s. The A6s were, I believe, the man. I'm mixing mine up, but pretty much the A6s were the intruders. The intruders were the A6s intruders, which was it was seated for four, and then they handled the electronics attack. Then it switched over to the EAs. I only had a brief time with the prowlers. So then they switched it over and they called these the growlers, which is the EA growlers, which is the F-18. And this squadron was VAQ 130, known as the Zappers. And we had two pilots known as Lieutenant Commander Lindsay Miley Evans. And we also had Lieutenant Serena Doug Wiseman, who were routine pilots who who flew with the VAQ 130 Zappers. And I just wanted to show and just kind of speak about them, and just show my you know man, it's kind of hit me. But the fact that, yeah, I'm just kind of just shocked that this happened. They were based out of Whidbey Island. It's so sad. So prayers to the family. Um, so out of Whidbey Island, which is about on the west coast on the west coast of the country. Uh, Whidbey Island is known where they were based out of, and they were just doing a training session. About 59 miles north of Seattle, thick mountain terrain, and the terrain is known as, oh man, I just had it, Mount Rainier. So Mount Rainier is about 59 miles north of Seattle, and it's a very mountain terrain type of area, thick and mountain terrain type of area. So they were doing a training session, and somehow I didn't have the specifics on exactly what happened, what was the main reason, because obviously that's part of the whole investigation, and they're possibly still involved in that. But I just wanted to show my, you know, my respect to these two women who served in the United States military and who were pilots. And I would say, I don't know if this is the right way to say, but definitely they you know they were serving their country. And there's more I want to say, and then I would say a little bit off. I don't want to be off the record, but obviously I wanted to say something else. But what I'm saying is, they definitely served their time, and it wasn't their fault, because no telling what happened. It's just a dangerous job. It's dangerous all around. Just doing a training mission. And then sometimes the things that they're doing is it's just dangerous in general. So I just wanted to bring that up. I didn't know. I just know with the election, and everything else going on right now, everybody's kind of not really thinking about, this situation that happened. And like, and on the show, I only have so much time to bring up what I need to bring up. But I just wanted to bring that up and bring it to light. Uh, so yeah, they were. There's not many women who are naval aviators, so they were definitely they were, it was almost like a Top Gun type of deal. Instead, it was two women, so they were riding together. The jet they were riding in, which is the EA Growler, is a two-seater. So you have one that's a pilot, and the back one is the one who's doing the electronic attack work. And specifically, the aircraft is, so if there's like an IED on the ground, or if there's specific IEDs, or there's things going on the ground that they need to know, uh, this squadron would fly over and pretty much throw like a magnetic. And I'm guessing, like I said, I don't know specifics, but I do know that overall it would throw kind of like a dome-like deal over the IEDs, and then over that, it pretty much, if like say a battalion or somebody was moving through and they're Americans or whoever it is, it kind of oversight it overdoes. It throws this signal over, and this signal over kills the IED. I knew that had to do. I was part of an F-18 squadron, so I was more in the mechanic side and then the corrosion side. So I never had no specifics when it came to the electronic attack aircraft, and those aircraft were a little bit more technical when it came to avionics and specifics on that. Avionics was totally different from what I did. I did more of the airframes and then the corrosion. So that, and then I did the line shack. So totally different from what this squadron. This squadron a little bit more technical. So, the backseaters usually the ones doing the electronics and doing the electronic attack over wherever they need to do it. And they were also explaining that they had specific sites that they did. They were actually part of since uh, the invasion of Gaza and in the Middle East. So there were some things that they contributed to that operation, from what I understand, and this is from what I read. So yeah, just prayers to the families. It's a very sad situation of what happened, and just thought I'd just bring that up. On to the next. On to the next. So yeah, I wanted to bring this up. This other situation, which when I was younger, I used to think that hey, I know I felt something was weird and wrong about this, and it being weird and wrong, it just something didn't sit right with me, and it had to do with this whole situation now with Abercrombie and Finch CEO being caught for sex trafficking. So this is another another one that's getting in trouble for sex trafficking, along with you'll like I said, I'll show you right now, and it's one of these things where it's just like um they always had like weird ads, and I would remember on how sometimes these weird ads would be just so back in the day in the 90s, Abercrombie and Fitch was here in the Galleria Mall, and in the Galleria Mall, I would go in there with friends, and I would say specifically white friends that I walked into Abercrombie with, and they would ask them specifically if they would want to work there. It was so weird. It was almost like a cult type of deal where they would, only initiate you if you if you fit some look or some way. Um, it was kind of douchey at the time. We knew it as like being a douchebag, and then the whole thing dealing with, um, there was also the whole Dave Matthews that was going on at the time, where there was concerts of Dave Matthews at the Woodlands. So it was always known that people who go to these concerts in the Woodlands is for Dave Matthews was people who wore the Abercrombie and Fitch, and then they were the only ones. And then you had a lot of I remember in like from middle school to high school, you had a lot of people who wore that, and then it was all specifically preppy people that were in the school or that you just knew were preppy. Because I was from a bad neighborhood, but from the school I went to was pretty much generally white and very preppy. So that school specifically, you would see it, and then you would see a lot of them wearing Abercrombie and Fitch. And I'm not gonna lie, I had an interest in it, but then the times I would go in there, it would be just so weird. I had a friend that would get asked repeatedly if he could work it for Abercrombie or if he was interested or if he wanted to apply, you know. And I would think it was just so weird uh, that that anybody had the interest to want to even work there because of the fact that they were asked. Because I just thought, like, you would be in there shopping. Hey, you want to work here? You get a discount. Blah blah blah. But come to find out, it was like a specific. Uh, it was almost like a specific. So the documentary, this documentary, which is it was about Abercrombie and Fitch, and there's kind of like this whole, I guess, way of living, being the American boy, being the pinup, I guess, of America. Being the American. It just you could just feel this whole, like, if you wore Abercrombie and Fitch, you were cool or you had some money, or like, I guess you had this type of level of being in society. Maybe, if you're a 10th or 11th grade and you had like, oh, Abercrombie, you were Abercrombie, or maybe some of those things you wore were Abercrombie. So yeah, it did throw off that style. It did throw off that kind of weird uh, feeling of kind of like a society, or what you want to call it, like a group. Uh, so obviously later on they came out with a Netflix documentary called White Hot: The Rise and Fall of Abercrombie and Fitch. So I haven't seen it, but obviously, you know, they were on to something, and then obviously now the CEO and the two other people tied into him are being tied into sex trafficking, and, well, uh, over over even over state lines, and I mean, it's just weird, just whole weird. But yet again, I feel like when I was younger, I just kind of, I'm not saying I even knew about all that stuff, but just like what was thrown in your face, it was just like it's showing right there, the white hot rise of the fall, the white hot, the rise and fall. Yeah, it's just like it's just you just see it all right there, you know. White hot, the rise and fall of Abercrombie and Fitch. It's just like it even speaks for itself, you know. But I mean, I believe at the same time it is kind of sad. Same time, you know, something that was not what it seemed really was. I mean, because like I said, they had the whole idea of promoting this whole thing of being uh, this type of I guess representation of America at the time of the American boy, and you know, um, there was this article that I saw where the article and this article is so it was an article just explaining, and this article was in 2022, and the article was just what working at Abercrombie taught me about America. And then, and then he just talks about being in North Carolina, and then um, landed a part-time job at Abercrombie Fitch. It was the late '90s, and it just clarified everything I was saying earlier. You know, everyone who worked the coveted work weekend shift at the Durham store was beautiful, slender, fit, dressed in jeans or khakis, plaid shirts, t-shirts, and flip-flops, and emblazoned with the name of the brand. My coworkers seemed carefree and confident and had a way of navigating the world. I understood uniquely American from watching exported TV shows as a kid. I noticed that all but one of the associates I met were white. I was lucky, the manager said. Everyone wants to work here. I didn't want to work in that shit. But like I said, my point was, things get flipped around, and, you know, uh, when you get caught up, I mean, things happen, So, yeah, so this is the CEO, and yeah, now he's caught up and all that weird shit. So, and look at all these ads, like I said, I typed in Abercrombie and Fitch weird ads, and it's just like all these weird ads. So, I mean, the dude was definitely off. I can only imagine, you know, um, yet another elite taken down, so it is what it is on that end. Um, so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and end the show, but I'm glad I just wanted to come on here, show some love. Before I do go, I wanted to show at least a workout with Mike Tyson. Um, I hope Mike Tyson pretty much hurts all. Definitely would make my day if that was to happen. And I think it's a very good chance that just seeing the way he looks and the way he's performing, and traveling there, I just don't see him taking an easy L to to who I still feel is still a young fighter. I mean, Mike Tyson has been there, he's done that, and I don't see him falling down easily. I don't see him giving in too easily to Paul. And I know Paul is pretty scared, because I would, even no matter, no, I don't care how much good of a shape, good shape, or even like him being in his camp right now, and how, all the training that he's doing. I still have to agree the fact that I still don't believe that he's going to be 100%, with what he's knowing that he's what he's getting himself into. I mean, this is one of the all-time greats, and yes, he is close to 60. He's 58 years old. But I think that's the other thing that's just going to come to light when you really think about it, because it's just something that I guess this man, he wants to prove, I guess, or I guess whatever the reason might be behind Mike Tyson wanting to do this, Um, I was trying to show his, but I don't think they're gonna let me. And I keep on getting I keep on getting fined for showing other videos, but whatever.
Paul had to do it.
You know? Look at that. He's the greatest. I still look up to you, Mike Tyson. I love you. I mean, I still see the same. Like, man, you're gonna just take him. But even though I'm showing some old videos, because the new video I was trying to show it was not working. I just needed to show him. I'm trying to keep this moving on, but look at that. Whatever. Oh man, Mike Tyson. Customato. So everybody, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I went a little past 30 minutes this episode, but like I said, I just wanted to show Mike Tyson. He ain't gonna go down easy, Paul. He ain't. All right, everybody. Well, it was nice hanging out. Thank you for showing up for this episode. Just I will be back before this weekend. I will be back. Believe me. Everybody go out there and vote. Also, if you can, put a like for my video. And if you can't, please, it'd be kind of cool if you were able to subscribe. So everybody, thank you for coming. All right, everybody. All right, everybody. I guess I'm just going to finish up with Mike Tyson. Clean up, everybody. All right, y'all. Have a good night.